Hey, this is Jason Boss with Georgia Manufacturing Alliance, and you are joining us for another interview as part of the Manufacturing Success in Georgia book tour. We've had the opportunity to go around the state and speak with leaders from all parts of Georgia and all different aspects of manufacturing. And today we are at Kia, Georgia in West Point, and we're talking to a good friend of ours, Stuart Countess. And Stuart is the Chief Operating Officer of Kia, Georgia. Kia Georgia, West Point. We're trying to get the name right here. And we're really excited to talk with Stuart just a little bit. So with that, what I'd like to do is turn this over to you, Stuart. Tell us again, give us your role and what it is that you do here at Kia.
Well, good afternoon. Yeah, Stuart Countess. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for the plant that's located in West Point, Georgia. We've been manufacturing cars here now for almost 12 years. We're the home of the Kia Telluride, the Sorento, and now the K5 sedan. So it's quite a pleasure to have you here and good to see you.
Perfect. Well, you and I kind of go back a few years. We host the Georgia Manufacturing Summit. Typically we hold it in the fall, and you were one of our keynote speakers about, 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago?
Getting close to be 3 years this year, I believe.
Yeah. COVID took us out for 2020 and 2021. We're looking at maybe bringing that back on board in 22. But I really enjoyed learning about the history of Kia through some of the things we've toured out here a few times. Mm-hmm. But I would like for you to share just a little bit about Kia's history, if you would.
Well, the plant was under construction back in the beginning of 2008. We started manufacturing automobiles in November of 2009. And since that time, it's been an upward race. We went from one shift to 3 shifts, all the way up to, at 1 year, we made 372,000 vehicles in a single year.
Wow.
Part of our opportunity of being in this area was that we had this workforce that we were able to train to build world-class automobiles, which was a great attraction point for Kia to locate here in the West Point area.
Okay, great. So you had folks in the community that were knowledgeable of manufacturing, but maybe not so much on the automotive side?
It was a different manufacturing environment. This is a textile community. With NAFTA coming on, the textile mills, which originally were the Callaway mills, the Milliken mills, et cetera, had since picked up operations and moved out for the most part. So there was a workforce that was available. At the time when we came, there was about a 13% unemployment. So, that was certainly an attractive reason for us to locate here. Then we worked with our partners in the state, the local community, in developing a course to teach people how to build a world-class automobile. So that, over the years, has grown to be one of the benchmarks within the industry of how we were able to achieve such great success over a short period of time relative.
That's perfect. And the training program, what's one of the big training programs that Georgia has? Because we got people that are listening to this from all over the country, which is really cool. But tell us a little bit about that training program that was so instrumental in bringing Kia to Georgia.
Well, you go through a basic assessment, trying to understand what people's skill levels are, but it also gives them some opportunity to see what your business is going to be like. Certainly, there are some businesses that people have interest in, and some it just may not interest them. So we started from that level. Then once we got the factory up and running and began our trials back in the 2009 time period, that training has since continued with inside the factory. You developed people, taught them how to program robots, touch-up robots, things that they had never experienced maybe previously in their life before Kia. Mm-hmm. So they've gained some skill sets over the years. Now, since the years have gone on, almost 12 years now, cars have developed more and more, and so that's just allowed those individuals to continue to grow each year. In the automotive industry, as in many others, it's just a continuous improvement cycle that you continue to advance people's skill sets, and they have opportunities to achieve higher success also.
Well, that's fantastic. Tell us a little bit about how many employees do you currently have here at Kia, and what's the economic and employment impact of Kia in this part of Georgia?
So we run a 3-shift operation, 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. We run Saturdays if we have market demand for the products. We employ 2,700 people in total. But when you look at the larger footprint, which includes the supply base, both at Tier 1, Tier 2, and now even Tier 3s that have located, you're looking at about another 14,000 jobs that have been attributed to Kia being in this particular area.
Wow, 14,000 additional on top of the 2,700 direct.
Yeah, so it's been a really good success story. Our draw of people, there are people that do live in Atlanta and come out of the Atlanta area. There's people in Auburn. There's people in Columbus. So we pull from quite a large shed of individuals to get our workforce, and that's been good because they bring different skill sets to it. But they all are bringing to the table wanting to be successful, and I think that's been probably the benchmark of what we've seen out of this area.
Well, that sounds great. Well, that's one of the big things I wanted to talk to you. I want to kind of pick your brain about workforce. You know, the book, we've really enjoyed writing the book and doing the history. You know, learning all about manufacturing, all the way from the Ford Model T to the latest and greatest Telluride. I mean, we've got a rich history in automotive manufacturing in Georgia. But one of the things I hear from leaders all around the state is, you know, workforce is a big issue. So how finding your people? I know that you guys have been invested heavily in training in the technical colleges of the state of Georgia and Think Academy. Those are a couple things. You want to share just a little bit about that on the workforce development side?
Well, I think you have to go back from a historical perspective. We realized early on in that 2009, 2010 timeframe, we were looking for maintenance people, individuals who had skill sets to work on the different types of equipment that we have throughout the shop. It didn't matter if it was robots or some other piece of equipment, but what we quickly realized is we had to develop that skill set. It wasn't something that was readily available. So there were some initiatives that were kicked off and have continued to grow over the years, going back into work with the technical college system, going into the high school system, and then even since then going into the elementary and middle school system, trying to attract and draw talent for the future.
Okay.
The philosophy is that you've got to grow your talent. And that's okay. If you can grow that talent and teach them the skill sets and interact with those individuals in their school systems, then they can see what the community overall can grow. And we believe it's been a success, but you can't stop. You're always having to look forward. Now, whether that's a 3-year, 5-year, or a 10-year forecast, you have to continue to look out, because in our industry, as in many others, it's continually changing. So therefore, you have to develop those different skill sets as time goes on.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's the thing that leaders have to be working, not just in the business, and not just in the business, but really be working on the business, trying to forecast. What are some of the things? I'm going to ask you to break out that crystal ball and tell us what do you see across the manufacturing world? What do you see coming down the pipe that people need to be looking for? What are some of the trends you see coming down the road?
Well, certainly in our industry, there's a lot of discussion going on about electric vehicles and autonomous vehicles.
Okay.
Those are certainly the future for this industry. But the development piece within the workforce is these are the attraction items to get this workforce coming in. Manufacturing tends to be thought as not sexy. It's not something individuals want to think. They have kind of this mindset that it's a dirty industry. Well, it's not. It's a very highly technical process, whether it's actually building the car, developing the equipment, working with the equipment. There's so many areas. What we do see that is coming is a change in the automotive side. When that actual change will come, there's a wide variety of forecasts that are out there, but you are going to see an evolution in products. I would give an example to that is if you looked at what we first built back in 2009 and what products we build today, that has been a 12-year cycle of a product that has grown with more features, more technical aspects in the car. And until you take a step back, you don't really realize how far you've come in 12 years. Well, now advance that 12 years into the future, and you can have a kind of a vision of what you're going to need and what those products may look like.
Mm-hmm. So you think we're really heavily headed directly into the electric vehicles across the board in all automotive? Do you feel that's kind of where we're headed?
There's definitely a path forward there.
Okay.
There's some obstacles that have to be overcome, such as infrastructure, which is, it's important to what our products are going to be that we would make. But the infrastructure within the U.S., trying to get customers interested and understanding that you can have an electric vehicle and you can drive so many miles and that you have a charging station that is available to you. These are challenges that the industry is facing. There's lots of discussion, as we all know, going on at the federal government level of how to develop this. I think, yes, it will develop. The question is, what's that timetable? And different OEMs have different time scales on how they're going to approach this topic. I would tell you that from Kia, going from Kia Motors Manufacturing Georgia, as we've now dropped the motors, that's telling you what we're thinking about into the future, that it's not always about a motor within a car. It's about other types of mobility, whether it's electric vehicles, purpose-built vehicles. There's a lot more aspects of this that we're looking to continue the growth, not only as Kia as a company, but Kia here in Georgia.
That's some great insights. I did have a question for you about some of the recognition you guys have had over the years. I mean, that's really cool to see. We love seeing jobs here in Georgia. The way that I'm wired up, if it's good for manufacturing, good for Georgia, I'm all about it. Anything outside that, I don't spend a lot of time on. But being recognized for being such a great leader in the community, if you would share with us some of the latest things that have come down the pipe for you guys.
Well, I think over the last 12 years, Kia has really developed as a company. In 2009, it was certainly there was an impression about what a Kia car was about. This plant has really helped to change that. Kia overall has changed, but we've been a key piece in that. What has happened is that national recognition through J.D. Powers has seen Kia as the #1 mass market brand for the last 6 years.
That's huge.
And even in that same 6 years, it's been the #1 overall brand, both luxury and mass market size. So that's a change in how the customer is receiving our product, what the quality level is within it, but it also is a recognition of the design concepts and meeting what that customer expectation is. We've on the Telluride product, which is a phenomenal car, it's 2.5 years into its life. There's still about a 6-week wait to get one.
Wow.
It received what was the Triple Crown recognition, the North American Utility Vehicle for the North American Car of the Year Award, the Car and Driver, and then Driver's Top 10. So there was a lot of recognition built around that car, and certainly from our perspective, it was well-deserved. So we continue to build on that, but the reason we got there is because of the workforce. It takes 2,700 people to pull that off. It's not one individual's effort that does it. It's a collective effort that has made us successful in that area.
I love that. And having the mindset of a team, that's one of the things that, man, it has been so cool to see. Again, Kia was one of the companies that we were early on really interested in coming out and seeing. Everybody wants to see how cars are made, As a matter of fact, the intro to the book tells my story. When I was in elementary school, McDonough Elementary School, as a first grader, I went to the Hateville Ford plant. And man, I was fascinated. They took us through there as, first graders, and I was watching cars. They rolled in steel and rolled out cars, and it just blew me away. I was just amazed by the technology and the manufacturing and making real things. That was pretty cool to see. And so I've been able to, we were kidding about this, kind of pre-show a little bit. I've been able to make a career out of going out and doing factory tours. It's been fun, and I'm thankful that I've had that opportunity. But so many people hadn't had the chance to go see an operation like this in process where you can push out a car every 7 seconds, and that just blows my mind with the technology. But when we come here, the thing that I always walk away from is, I do have an appreciation for now why a car costs what a car costs, right? I've gained there's a lot of pieces that make my Kia Sorento run like it does, and consistency. But the thing that I always walk away with is the spirit and the people that Kia has, and the can-do attitude. And you guys have faced some pretty significant struggles through the years trying to make things work, and you've overcome a lot of obstacles that other folks in the automotive industry maybe hadn't, but you've done it with such grace. So you want to share with us a little bit about the people side of it?
Well, I think we follow a team concept, first of all. There's a lot of hands-on approach with one another. We have teamwear. We wear our first name on our shirt, so everybody knows me as Stuart. That's the kind of approach that we have. We can talk about what we need to do. People will bring problems to you. Hey, can you help me solve this? And sometimes it's amazing. You'll even get some things that are not necessarily related to work, but it's a large family. We figure out how to solve problems together. It's an approach where, I can ask yourself, Jason, hey, today I know we got a problem in this particular area, but I need you to just do it just this way today, and I'm going to get this problem fixed. Yep, we can do that. And so it's been a process of building, but it's also a lot about, I think, trust. They know we're going to resolve those issues to help them. The end item, what the team members see is the recognition and being proud when they see a Telluride, a Sorento, or a K5 on the road. They know that car came from West Point, Georgia. There's a lot of, if you ask different people within the factory, they'll tell you about their kids. That, my daddy, my mama makes these type cars. And so it gives them that sense of pride, and they want to do better. Mm-hmm. It is a great place to work. Is it hard work? Yeah, absolutely. Every job's hard. But you involve people to help move everybody forward. And we've been successful at that, but we have to work at it every single day. Right.
I love that leadership philosophy and that mentality. So a couple things. One is we bought a 2019 Kia Sorento and love it. My wife, as we were driving in, has picked out the new color of the Telluride that she wants. so I guess we're going to have to get on the list for that one. But tell us about the models that are made here. So when you first started out, and where are you at today?
Well, we started the plant up with the Sorento. We're now on our third generation of that particular car in this factory. Okay. It actually just had its third generation started this past year during COVID, mm-hmm. Which was an interesting process when you're launching a brand new vehicle in the middle of a pandemic. It continues to be a hot seller. It has a more rugged style now than it's maybe had in the past, mm-hmm. but a great vehicle. We also make the K5 sedan, so some automotive companies have gone away from a sedan market, going more to the traditional SUV, CUV style. Kia has chosen to stay in that market. We've brought back a lot of the original concepts from the Optima and put them into the K5, so it's a very sporty, driving styled car. Mm-hmm. Quite a fun car to drive, to be quite honest. Find a curvy road with the new 2.5 turbo engine in it. What a fantastic ride. Yeah. That car also launched during the pandemic, and it's on its third generation. So there, in summary, and two cars launched during a pandemic was quite a challenge when you consider about the logistical issues, the support that you need from overseas to help launch these cars as part of our entire family concept. Mm-hmm. But then the Telluride is right now certainly the darling of the family. It has been in production now for 2.5 years. And as I had said previously, it's about 6-week wait to get one. So it's the largest SUV that we have, and it's certainly the largest car within the Kia family overall. It was a car that was designed in California for Americans. Things that the individual going to soccer games, baseball games, going on family vacations. It was built all around those needs. So we've been extremely proud of that. Our goal on all three products is how do we continue to make them attractive so that people want to buy them, and then we have trouble getting those cars to them in a short period of time. So good problem to have.
Yeah, obviously you found a huge niche in filling it with that Telluride. Like I said, I guess I need to go ahead and get on the list. A couple of your team members here told me that I need to go ahead and put my name on the list and pick out the color. So
it is a fantastic car. I've built other SUVs in previous career, and I'd stack this one up against all of them. It's a fantastic car.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, one of the things I love to chat with leaders about is their leadership philosophy. Some of the things that that attracted you to the manufacturing space, and so I'm gonna kind of throw a couple pieces out and pick out the ones you like the best. But what books are you currently reading, and what would you tell somebody that's thinking about exploring a career in the manufacturing industry? So those are two topics.
I think the attraction to manufacturing is a hands-on approach. Okay. I like to get my hands into things, to work on them, put them together, take them apart. Manufacturing doesn't attract people because they tend to think of it as a really dirty industry. You've been here before. Our factory is 12 years old, and it's as clean as it was the day it was built. It really shows a sense of pride of the workforce. And we talked about very early on about how we weren't going to live in a dirty house.
Right.
And so team members have accepted that, but that's helped to build the culture within the factory. What that has also done from a leadership point of view, I think, is we have to continue to promote that. We have to exercise that. And that means if I walk by and I see a piece of trash laying on the floor, I have a responsibility to pick it up. Mm-hmm. If I don't, then I'm just teaching a bad lesson. So if you can find those key things and live them yourself, then your workforce buys in and says, well, everyone's a participant within it. And we've done that from, problems on the floor. If we got to be here till 3 o'clock in the morning, we're here to help solve the problems. And it has been successful. Mm-hmm. From a book point of view, I can't really think of anything that I've recently read to say, but it's the things that I find interesting, whether they be news articles, et cetera, are just how do you live the culture that you're trying to teach.
Yeah.
And if you're not willing to live it, you're certainly going to have a hard time getting 2,700 other people to live it.
Right.
And that's been our guiding principle. We have something we call the Key Away, and it's centered around that we all together work as a team in order to make each other better, but also make the company better.
Yeah. Well, obviously it's working and working amazingly well. Now, I will challenge you. I'll give you a new book. Hopefully, it's going to be your next favorite bestseller. Is Manufacturing Success in Georgia. So, as a shameless plug, if you have not already got yours, you can go to manufacturingsuccessingeorgia.com. And you'll be able to see, learn about the book, learn about the history of the book. There's a pretty cool story behind it, as well as our business partners that played a role in making this thing happen. Man, I really do appreciate Kia stepping up and wanting to help share the history of manufacturing in Georgia. And we've got there's a couple different sections that Kia is involved with in the transportation side, but also in the sharing of the heritage, where we told a little bit more in-depth history of Kia. And it really does matter for us to figure out where we came from so that we can better predict where we're going to. And I tell you, man, it has been so much fun being out. And I know you're crazy busy, but I'm thankful for the time that you've been able to share with us today. And I do want to open it up and see if there's anything else that you'd like to add before we wrap this thing up.
No, I would build on your comments about the book. I think if you look deep behind a lot of the companies that are highlighted in there, there's probably some very common threads throughout, and it's about the workforce that's within the state of Georgia, but it's certainly about the partners within the support system within Georgia, whether it be Georgia Quick Start, economic development. They have always had a strength to make companies successful here in Georgia, and that's a lot of what has driven, I think, the successes here.
Perfect. Well, that sounds good. Well, again, I really do appreciate your time, Stuart, and looking forward to continuing to see the success that you've got here. And with that, we'll go ahead and sign off. It's been another great day at GMA. We'll see you guys at future events.